Hello everyone, welcome to Express Drives. I'm back with yet another interesting conversation. It is Royal Enfield this time. But we're not talking about motorcycles per se. This time we're talking about something just as important, if not more. So it'll be all about safety, helmets and jackets and gloves, things that can save our lives, keep us from getting hurt, and if I'm quite honest, they do keep us looking quite cool on our motorcycles as well. So we've got Mr. Puneet Sood to speak with us today. He is head apparel and accessories at Royal Enfield. He will walk us through what Royal Enfield Apparel has been up to, what it has on offer, and what is new. Thank you very much, Mr. Sood, for making time for us. Welcome to Express Drives. So the first question's got to be, how is lockdown treating you? How are you holding up?
Well, the lockdown has been, I think, an interesting phase. I mean, of course, there is the virus and there is enough on the hands to deal with. But I think also for us and for the whole team, and I think for everybody across the world, it's been a learning experience. I think there are a lot of there is this silver lining to the dark cloud that we are focusing on. So I think my personal learning was that in terms of business, we were able to drive quite a lot of priorities even while people work from home. So I think that for us was a big learning. I was never a believer of work from home, but I realize now that it works.
As
And
times change.
yes,
Because I struggle so much with these video conferencing things, you have no idea. You know this. So we've
yes,
been struggling.
yes, and
Right.
I now we have kind of gotten used to it.
Right. So, getting straight to the business part of it, the apparel. So, how big is the apparel business for Royal Enfield?
So, see, right now, apparel, if you look at our motorcycle business, of course, we've been in continuous production for over 100 years. Apparel business, we started off the apparel business about 6 years back, so about 6 or 7 years back. And
Yeah.
that's when we started kind of focusing on building this ecosystem around motorcycling. The whole vision is that motorcycling isn't just about the machine, it's about the motorcycling way of life. And I think we've come a long way from where we were in terms of people adopting the motorcycling way of life. From our business point of view, uh, I think one, we don't measure ourselves just in terms of the revenue that we are able to drive. We measure ourselves in the impact that we are able to create. And I think there is substantial impact that we've been able to create in the last years. And I think women's range is just an expansion of that. They can improve the riding experience for a few more riders, then that'll be great.
Right. So, all right, but we're not really putting numbers onto how big is it in terms of revenues, but still, what sort of trend have you seen in the apparel business? Like, how welcoming has it been for riders, like compared to when you started it and to now?
So I think there are multiple factors which have led to very strong growth for the Royal Enfield apparel business. We are right now in the higher two-digit numbers of growth, and our targets and aspirations for the next few years are very, very ambitious. I do believe that this year will be one of the most exciting years for Royal Enfield apparel. I think what has led to the increase or what has helped us grow is one. I think in India, more and more people, not just India actually, globally, more and more people are now picking up leisure motorcycling. Motorcycling as a source of adventure or exploration or during their holidays.
Yes.
Second, I think the awareness around need for safety has gone up. So that's another bit. Plus, I think India as a market is underserved in terms of the offering that it has. So you will either find very credible offerings which are not value for money or which are very expensive, or in the market you have offerings at the entry level which don't have enough credibility. So I think what we've been able to do, like we've been able to do with our motorcycle business, is launch products at that sweet spot where while they are safe, comfortable, and stylish, they're also very accessible in terms of pricing and availability. So I think that's what has driven the growth for us.
So, what sort of like where is it designed? Do you have design collaborations with design houses? Because I know you do have riding pants and jackets by Revit, and there's steelbuds for helmets. So, what are there any other collaborations on this?
So the design piece is completely in-house right now. We do get into a few collaborations, like you spoke of Revit, wherein two brands come together and we figure out what works best for our riders,
Right.
and that's where we have explored collaborations with other brands. However, we have an in-house design team which understands the brand absolutely in its essence, and that's the one that works. We source from various manufacturers, but the whole designing piece, the purpose of a product, the testing, the quality assurance for the product, all of that is managed by the business.
So during the time, this is a pandemic. This is the first time all of us are going through something like this, and
Yes.
masks are mandatory. I've seen a lot of riders. They're wearing a mask but not a helmet. So like,
Right.
how do we get more people to understand the first line of defense in case of a crash is a helmet. So like, are there any campaigns that Royal Enfield is working on to promote the use of riding gear, helmets especially?
So I will tell you, safety is one of our priorities. I mean, as let's say we are a part of Royal Enfield, which is a larger brand which stands for pure motorcycling, and safety is one of the priorities that we intend to drive. We've taken multiple initiatives. Of course, the first of them being that we give a free of cost helmet with every motorcycle that is sold. So when a consumer buys a motorcycle, he gets a free of cost helmet along with every motorcycle that he buys. Uh, we have what we've also tried to do is try to make our helmets very accessible. So in the last year, we've launched very good quality ISI helmets, the helmets that meet the requirements of the law, and we've brought the price point down. So right now, our helmets start from 1750, and then they go up to 8,500 rupees. But we've launched a large range. Uh, there is enough focus on us talking about it when a consumer comes to the store. So there is conversations about the importance of riding helmet.
Right.
Another interesting bit that I would like to share with you is that we recently did a campaign with our headgear, where Royal Enfield, we offer a range of headgear which is very comfortable to wear inside a helmet, and it also protects you from dust and pollution. So that's another line of defense
Right.
in this pandemic that makes sense, and we spoke about that extensively to all our audience.
Like you said that Royal Enfield apparel range is, it's a sweet spot between, a good price and quality. So what kind of armor does the jackets and riding pants have? What level of armor do they have?
So currently, as we speak now, our whole range of products has a CE approved level 1 armor is what we use in our whole riding gear. But I think when we approach, like I said, because we are not a brand, we are not a business driven by profitability as our priority. So I think we have very clearly our priority number one is to ensure the right quality is offered to our consumers. I think what we've also focused on a lot is I think as a brand we are very lucky to have the love and affection of a huge riding group across the country, and they've been a continuous inspiration for us, a source of information as well as inspiration. We've been speaking with them, understanding what their needs are, how can we make apparel and riding gear which is most suitable for them. Um and I think that learning is what we are implementing. There are multiple products that we launched last year,
Yeah.
which were based consumer feedback, consumer input. While in the market, there are a lot of international brands that sell products in India. However, the challenge is that they are not really made for the Indian climate or Indian terrain.
Right.
We, on the other hand, have spent substantial time in understanding what our riders in India need and then working on it.
That's great actually, because I have struggled a lot to find gear my size or good for the weather. Speaking of which, the women's range launched just yesterday actually.
Yes.
Great news for me. I'm really happy about this. So, what made you take this decision? Has there been like, have you seen a very incredible increase in number of, happily, an incredible increase in number of women riders in India?
So women's range was always on the table. I remember we were discussing it even 2 years back. We said, how do we bring it to the market? Uh, But we eventually started working on it, I think, somewhere early in the last year. And there were multiple reasons which led to it. So, one is, of course, with the riding culture, leisure riding culture going up, there is women are picking up it up equally. I mean, and when you speak of women, it's not just women riders. Women are equal partners as a pillion rider in a lot of rides. They're open to now adventure holidays. They're open to riding with their partner. A lot of walk-ins that come into our dealership, there are women that ride with men, and we realize that this is a need that exists in the market. If you look at research, also globally, the number of women riders is growing much faster than the men riders is, and that's because maybe the base is smaller. But as a contribution, it's almost doubled, and globally, about 18% of riders right now, or motorcycle owners, are women, which is a globally is a large number. And
Yeah.
of course, we see this number only going up. We started work on it last year. One was this understanding of more and more women picking up riding or expressing their love for the motorcycling way of life. We saw the feedback that we got from our dealerships who deeply engage with these riders, from our riders, also made us realize that there is this particular segment is underserved. I mean, the market right now has a requirement for riding gear for women, and it's not as easily available in the right size at the right price, and in terms of geographical availability, is it available across? So, which is why the decision to go ahead. While we took our time to ensure that what we launch is absolutely perfect for India. There was the amount of time that we had to spend on getting the fit right, on getting the nuances on our products right, was substantial. But I'm hoping the effort will be worth it, and we will in some way be able to improve the riding experience for women riders across the country.
Cheers to that. I'm looking
Thank
forward to trying out some soon.
you. You should, of
Um,
course. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Right. So about so the COVID-19 situation has brought about a slump in, well, I think a lot of most of the industries, and automotive sector has seen a huge hit. So, like Mr. Dasri just recently during a conference call, he said that the bookings for the motorcycles have gone back to pre-COVID eras, maybe. But how's it going for the apparel business? Like, is it still down in the doldrums? Are you seeing it picking up? And what sort of trend are you seeing?
I mean, as you're aware, almost all of our stores are now operational. In our case, one of the advantage that we have, which the motorcycle business doesn't, is that we are available across channels. So in the offline space, we are available at dealership, and in our partnership with Central, we have shop in shops across the country where we are available. There, of course, we have seen a hit in terms of our retail space, and we are trying to figure out how do we maximize our business there. But at the same time, we are available online on our own website, which is store.royalenfield.com, and on platforms like Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra. So, in terms of reach, we still have multiple channels of creating that access for a rider. In terms of revenue, the current month so far, or since we've opened up our stores, our pickup has been great. Uh, I still believe that while we might not be able to reach the numbers that we were aspiring for at the beginning of the year, we will go very close. I think this is going to be a great year for our apparel business. Uh, so yeah, I mean, our business for us has picked up. It's doing well.
Okay, but if you're saying that this is going to be a great year for the apparel business, however, the thing is, so the rider community is really strong with Royal Enfield, and those community
Yes.
rides, for example, Himalayan Odyssey or the ones in Uttarakhand. So all of
Right.
this pretty much come to a halt, and people are not really able to do their rides. So, like when you say that this year should be a great one for the apparel business, like what's going on in your mind?
So I think so like I said, I mean, it's unfortunate. I'm a rider myself, and I miss riding. I'm waiting
Yeah.
for me to get back onto the motorcycle and go at least on a
Yes.
weekend ride.
Yeah.
Uh, but the fact is that I've realized that you don't just live the motorcycling way of life when you're on the motorcycle. There is enough that you can do with lifestyle apparel to express your love for motorcycling, and which is where
Right.
our large range of lifestyle apparel comes in, and we are seeing an increased adoption there. So while not on the motorcycle, they can the rider can still express their love for motorcycling. I also believe that the women's wear that we've launched will help us reach a larger audience. We should be able to. There are multiple such initiatives that we are working on, but hopefully we should be able to deliver quite a lot this year with a lot of exciting news coming through the year, and all of it directed towards making the riding experience for a rider better.
Great, that's great. Looking forward to hearing more exciting stuff from Apparel Business RE. So about the women's range, if I remember correctly, it's only available at select dealerships currently. So are
Yes.
there plans of expanding it to, like, RE has a huge dealership network, so are there expansion plans as well?
Yes, of course there are. So this is our first launch of women's wear, and like I was saying, all of our products are designed basis feedback that comes in from our riders, and learning for us is a continuous process. So as we launch products, we work closely with our riding group and keep understanding what bits need to be improved. Now, right now, we've of course launched it on our online store, which makes it accessible across the country. And in terms of retail presence, we've launched it at in four cities across the country. And we intend to keep expanding not just reach or availability, but also in terms of range. We want to keep looking at what else needs to be added, what needs to be improved. So hopefully, even within this year, you should see more women's wear products coming to the market.
All right, that's great. Are there going to be boots? My first concern is always boots, because I noticed that what has been launched so far, boots are still
Yeah.
missing.
Yes, the so it's in the works. It's in the works, and hopefully we will have. Even if there is a little bit of wait time, hopefully in the next few months we'll have very exciting news for you. I'll ensure that Divya reaches out to you and tells you first on what's happening on the booths. Yes, it
Yes,
is an
please. Thank
essential
you.
part of the riding attire. We realize that.
That's great. That's great. I know I've been banging on about women riders. Well, I would,
Yes.
but let's get to the men for a bit. So, are there anything new additions happening for men's range, which is already quite elaborate? But
I think right now, of course, and within what we've done right now is the launch of a large women's range. In terms of men's range, we have continuously been working on ensuring that we launch newer and newer products. So,
yeah.
if you see, last year we launched a riding jacket called Street Wind, which was made for the Indian market. The Street Wind is a full mesh riding jacket with CE approved armor, and it comes at 4,500 rupees. So, we've kept it absolutely accessible, and it's available across our dealership. So last year, one of our focuses was on making our range more accessible. We launched a riding jacket 4,500, while we continue to have our Khadungla at 14,000 odd rupees, where you get a three-layer full-fledged jacket, but we also got something at the entry level. We did similarly for riding gloves. We launched riding gloves at entry level. We got T-shirts starting at 700 rupees. So there is this continuous improvement that is happening, and you will see a lot more on those lines for menswear also. And hopefully we'll talk about it when it's here.
Well, that makes me think. Yes, something is about to come. That is good enough. So thank you very much for this. In fact, I this is a great perspective on how elaborate apparel business is for Royal Enfield. This has been great, Mr. Sood. Thank you very much for your time. It was a great conversation, and looking forward to whatever is coming next.
Awesome. Thank you, Abhilasha. Thank you.
Thank you very much.